What's up you guys, it's Nasim here. Now before I start the video, I have one serious question. Is the iPhone 14 Pro Max the best phone to buy in 2022? And this is a question that really had me thinking because the iPhone 14 Pro Max is an amazing phone that I not only had a lot of fun with, but also really gave me a great experience to remember. It has a very powerful A16 Bionic chip that is powerful enough to handle any app smoothly. It has an amazing battery life that was able to last me all day with no problem. It has a beautiful display that not only looks great when using it, but also has a brand new cool feature with the dynamic island. And it has a really good software that'll keep you locked in because it's so easy to use. And even though there are many great things about the iPhone 14 Pro Max, just like any other phone out there, it's not perfect. There were many more software bugs than last year. The battery life is great, but I was getting better results with last year's iPhone 13 Pro Max, and the phone often felt very similar to last year and a year before that. But believe it or not, I do believe that there are many people who will love the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and hopefully this video will help you decide whether or not it's right for you. Now starting with the design, the iPhone 14 Pro Max pretty much had the same look as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but something that I did notice was that the camera lens has gotten a bit bigger, and as you can see right here, since the iPhone 12 Pro, Apple has taken it to the max, which is pretty interesting. Another difference from last year is that we don't have that weird hairline notch anymore, and instead there's that pill notch, which I will be getting more into later in the video. But besides those two things that I pointed out, this phone looks the exact same as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, from the power button, volume rockers and mute switch, all the way down to the speakers, lightning port, and the back. But looking at its color, the version that I have is a space black, and if I'm being honest, it only really looks different in certain angles. The sides are definitely darker, but there are other times where I'm looking at it and it looks just like last year's graphite color, so not too much change there. Now looking at the display, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 6.7 inch Super Retina XDR display that, just like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, was pretty good. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it felt very smooth, everything looked good, the responsiveness was very precise, and I had no complaints about the overall feel. The only problem that I had with it was the refresh rate. The 14 Pro Max is 120 Hz, which is supposed to result in a much smoother scrolling, and this feature is only on the 13 and 14 Pro models. But something that I noticed was that if I do go to certain apps, they don't support 120 and will often drop to below 60 Hz. Like whenever I was on Eventbrite, it felt extremely laggy whenever I was scrolling through it, and you could tell that the frame rate has dropped as soon as you started going through the app. So hopefully more apps can become compatible with the iPhone's higher refresh rate in the future. The bezels are pretty small. Right here, you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are much cleaner overall now that Apple has removed that notch, and it gives the screen a more circular look that'll give you much more screen real estate. Now something that has improved since last year is the brightness. The 14 Pro Max now has over 2000 nits worth of peak brightness compared to last year's 1200, and I really noticed the difference when I was outside. Now I'm able to see the screen much more compared to the 13 Pro Max when the sun was out, and this is one of my favorite improvements regarding the display. Now when it comes to the size of the 14 Pro Max, I can't say whether or not you will love it or hate it, but I want to list some pros and cons that you can look out for. Now the pros of having a big screen is that the viewing experience is much better, the battery is bigger so it'll be able to last longer, and bigger phones tend to have slightly better resolution. And now the cons of having a big screen is that it makes it much harder to use with one hand. Trying to simply reach to the top of the screen requires more work, and you'll need some pretty big pockets if you want to store your phone. But again, I want to let you guys outweigh the pros and cons because everyone's needs are different. Now the always on display was really impressive. Basically once you hit the power button on your phone, the brightness drops down, leaving you with nothing else to see other than a date, time, notifications, and any extra widgets you have on your phone. And it definitely has an amazing design that pretty much matches whatever wallpaper you're using at the time. I really love the nice transition it does when it turns on, and also when you're playing music, it'll show the cover, which also looks really good. And overall, I didn't have any problems with it. It does affect your battery life a little, but not that much. I never was the type of person who cared to have an always on display, but like my dad says, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Now another problem that I had with the display was the fact that Apple still hasn't added a fingerprint sensor. Now don't get me wrong, I think that the iPhone has the best facial recognition in the game with Face ID, but it still would have been nice to have that extra function when unlocking my phone. The resolution and viewing experience of the 14 Pro Max's display is by far the biggest benefit when it comes to the display. I was able to see everything very clearly when watching videos, playing games on it was fun as ever, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like when watching something and playing the game. Now the dynamic island is easily one of my favorite features on the 14 Pro Max, and basically all it is the advanced pill-shaped facial ID hardware on the left, along with the front-facing selfie camera on the right, and a bunch of dead pixels around it to give it an overall clear look for aesthetics. Now looks-wise, it looks better than last year, but where it gets cool is Apple has put software behind it to make it much more inclusive, and after using it for 3 months, I would say that it still is really helpful for me personally. And going down the list of things it can do, it notifies you when you're calling and receiving a call, it lets you know when you're connecting another Apple device, it lets you know when you're screen recording, it'll give you info when you're airdropping, switching your ringer for notifications, playing music, and many more things that it will take me a long time to name. I don't use everything when it comes to Dynamic Island, but I mainly use it for music, airdropping, and screen recording, and I also really loved how you could long press it and not only get more information but also change the song. Also, there are many third-party apps that support Dynamic Island, including Spotify, YouTube Music, SoundCloud, and many more, so you'll more than likely be able to still use it despite not being an Apple-owned app. The Dynamic Island can also work as a multitasking mechanism. Like say for instance, I'm listening to music but I'm on a bike ride. On the top, you can see that it's holding both apps, so I can switch to them very easily and still be able to maintain minor info. And in the overall grand scheme of things, this isn't the most revolutionary feature in the smartphone market, but I do like the attention to detail, and there are many cases where it can help you out as well. Now another benefit of getting the iPhone 14 Pro Max over the regular size Pro is the battery. The 14 Pro Max has a 4300 mAh battery that was easily able to last me all day with no problem, even whenever I turned on my always on display. And mind you, I'm the type of person that is usually on my phone all day doing things like writing scripts, planning B-roll, shooting videos, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, and texting my friends. And as you can see right here, I'm getting over 9 hours of on-screen time a day, and I only charge my phone when I'm sleeping. I don't use power saving mode, and I don't cut corners to save battery. I use it to the max and it's still able to perform very well, so if you do get the 14 Pro Max, battery won't be an issue. And if I could give a quick estimate, I would say that my battery is usually on 25% by the end of the day, which is really good if I have to head back out of the house at night. Now right now, my battery health is at 100%, which hopefully will keep up longer. Previous iPhones are known to have the battery significantly drop after a few months, so hopefully the 14 Pro Max breaks that streak. Now the last thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to battery was the charging, and if I'm being honest, the charging isn't that great in terms of speed. It would take well over an hour to get to 100%, but like I said before, you only need one charge, so I think the long-lasting battery is a great trade-off. Now looking at software, the 14 Pro Max supports iOS 16, and just like any other iPhone, you have the app drawer that holds and categorizes all your apps. You have the new wallpaper system that is a huge upgrade and feels much smoother on this phone, and you have the many minor things that make the iPhone feel even sleeker. But just because all of this stuff is designed to be sleeker doesn't mean that it's the smoothest thing ever. Like there were many times where my 14 Pro Max would freeze on me and I would have to hit the power button for it to correct itself. And mind you, this didn't happen every day, but it did happen every week, which is still pretty frequent. But besides the frequent freezes, most of the time the software was very smooth and worked very well. It felt just like the 13 Pro Max, and I feel like most of you guys will realize that in terms of software, it's not that much different from other models. I also decided to test out some games on the 14 Pro Max. I played Asphalt 9, which is a game that really can test out the chip, and as you can see, it held up really well and I didn't get any lags while playing. The haptics weren't that great if I'm being honest. There were many times where I would have my phone out on vibrate but would miss some of my messages because I couldn't hear it. So overall, I would say that the haptics are a downgrade from last year. Now the final thing that I wanted to note was that the 14 Pro Max will be getting 5 to 6 years worth of software upgrades, so when it comes to longevity, it has definitely got you covered. Now just like the 13 Pro Max, the 14 Pro Max had really loud speakers that were pretty good whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever I was watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't really have to turn it all the way up because of how loud they were on the lower tiers of volume. I tested out how they sounded when playing music, and if I'm being honest, they're loud, but the quality isn't the greatest when the volume gets to the max. I also used my 14 Pro Max as my alarm, and I had no problem waking up to it. I didn't have to set multiple alarms, and I didn't really have to worry too much about receiving important notifications whenever I turned on my ringer. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound. Now the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 48 megapixel main camera along with a 12 megapixel front and a 12 megapixel telephoto, and based on my usage from the past couple months, I will say that the pictures look amazing. Starting with the zoom modes, the 14 Pro Max has 4 different zoom modes starting with 0.5, 1, 2, and 3, and of course the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you get closer, but I found all the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed was very good from the start. I decided to test it out by shooting moving cars, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars beautifully no matter how fast they were going, so I was pretty satisfied. But it was a totally different story once the nighttime came around. The camera automatically shifted in night mode. Like right here, you can see that whenever I try to snap a flick in night mode, it takes extremely long and I have to hold the camera extremely still, so hopefully this improves in the future. Next up, I wanted to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment I will be starting with is daytime. Now looking at the outside photos, we can see that they really had a great shadow depth of field whenever I'm taking pictures of myself, along with a nice blur, and this is scaled all the way up once I use that portrait mode that Apple has always been good at. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, and different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the 14 Pro Max held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed. Now in the night setting, I will pretty much say that everything looked good. The camera will automatically switch to night mode, and once I snap the shot, it will brighten up everything in the photo so that you can see everything very clearly. Again, it looked really good, and the only complaint that I have is the shutter speed when going into night mode. Now taking a look at inside photos, the 14 Pro Max was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly more detailed than the 13 Pro Max in terms of sharpness. Even when taking selfies, you can see how the camera handles already good lighting to produce an overall nicely taken photo. My skin tone looked really good and the sharpness was at its peak. And now when it comes to shooting video, the 14 Pro Max is easily the best phone that you can buy. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, but I prefer to shoot my videos in 4K at 30 frames per second because not only does it look good in 4K, but the 30 frames makes it look smooth, but not as smooth as 60 frames would. The video stabilization was out of this world. I would shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld and the movements will be very smooth, which was very impressive. And for fun, I decided to try the new action mode, and if I'm being honest, it was insanely good, but for most people, you'll be completely fine with the regular stabilization, especially since action mode will also dumb down the video quality, so it's really not that much needed. So all in all, I would definitely say that the iPhone 14 Pro Max has an amazing video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a solid camera, the 14 Pro Max has got you covered. Also, here are some extra videos that I was able to get with my 14 Pro Max. So here's the final question. Is the iPhone 14 Pro Max the best phone in 2022? Well, it depends who you're asking. If you're asking someone like me who shoots all of my YouTube videos on my iPhone and is well integrated within the Apple ecosystem, since I also edit videos on my MacBook, I would say that this is the most compatible phone for me, but it's still not the best. I personally would say that it's tied with the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the Pixel 7 Pro. Both of those phones have equally as much to offer in terms of quality and usability. So all in all, your choice is based on preference. But if you're someone who is looking to get an iPhone, the 14 Pro Max is a great phone to get, and I think that you'll have a great time with it if you don't mind spending the extra money. But one thing that I would say is that if you want to get a great iPhone for a cheaper price, you can also look for a used iPhone 13 Pro Max, because if I'm being honest, it's basically the exact same phone without the dynamic island. And there it is, you guys, my review on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And if you guys have any questions for me, you can ask me down below in the comment section, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It'll be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.